This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up, everybody? Ricky Widmer here, along with Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
And we are here for a special Fast Break podcast.
Because something very, very special just happened.
It's usually me and you, though. Like, the last time this happened for OKC, we were the ones to talk about it.
I know.
Sean was out doing something, and he's out doing something today, calling a football game for his college. But, Dave, we got some breaking news. Carmelo Anthony not only waived his no-trade clause yesterday as we recorded the Fast Break, added some more teams, but the day after, today, as we're recording this on Saturday, gets dealt to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And here's what the Knicks got. You ready for this?
I'm prepared to be shocked.
Enes Kanter, who could be done at the end of this year. They can get rid of him. Doug McDermott, who just has a qualifying offer at the end of this year, and a Bulls second-round pick.
This pains me to hear. It really hurts.
Tell me how you really feel about this. Melo to the Thunder for that.
It's okay. We talked about this. You're never gonna get equal value for a star, and especially a star with a contract like Melo's. So the fact that the
Thunder have done it twice.
What the fuck?
Twice.
Sam Presti is a god, apparently.
Is he already GM of the year?
It's hard to not say that
without even winning the finals. GM of the year.
To be able to trade basically Serge Ibaka and campaign for Paul George and Carmelo Anthony, that's a pretty big swing. I mean, okay, tossing the Kanter still, but like it's crazy. It's just straight up fucking crazy, and I'm still having a hard time processing the fact that it's happening.
Well, the thing that I don't understand, and I want to look up exactly what the Thunder have, is now they couldn't go ahead and, because the only picks that they had were the 2 second-rounders, because they couldn't give up a first-round pick. They've got the second-rounder from Boston. They've got the second-rounder from Chicago that is now going to be
pick 31.
The New York Knicks pick.
Yep.
I don't know how you got Melo without, like, the Knicks, I would think, would want a first-round talent in return. Unless this is the Knicks just saying, you know what? We'll take the second-rounder. We'll tank for the top 5 pick. Your burp finally came out.
It did. We waited like 2 minutes. I'm sorry.
It's like, there you go. And you gave me the smile as it came out. I heard it, Dave. I heard it. But you want to pick, unless this is you just saying, we're going to suck for one of the top 2 picks in the draft this year.
Yeah.
And then we'll figure out our cap space. But who's going to want to play in New York?
I mean, it's still New York. I think it's still a mecca. It's got so much history there.
But you got to deal with Dolan.
You got to deal with Dolan, but you do have a lot of young talent on that team. I think it's going to be very interesting. I think if they get Luka or Michael Porter Jr., like the top end of this draft is solid. So if you're going to tank, this is the year to tank. Absolutely.
Yeah. And like, it's just phenomenal to me how the Thunder pulled this off without a first-round pick in the deal. Without a first, they couldn't. Like, I understand they couldn't give one.
Right.
But the Knicks, I would assume, I would want a big pick for Melo, even if it's a late first, I'd take it.
But if there's no better deals out there,
I know.
That's the thing, because you only have a certain amount of teams that Melo avoided that no trade for. It wasn't every team. He wasn't going to take a trade to the Bulls. We know that. I think Portland was a team that he didn't want to go to.
Yeah,
and they would have had a better package that was rumored. It's interesting that the Rockets and the Cavaliers weren't able to put together something for him, because I think both of those teams definitely were in the running. It's a little interesting that Sam Presti just made this shit happen. It's so confusing. It just shifts the power of the NBA entirely.
And I want to ask you this, because the Thunder are the team I want to focus on more. The Knicks we got through. Basically, it's cap room is why you made this.
Yep.
To free up cap room for next offseason. But for the Thunder, what does this mean for them this season? Because now they've got Russ, they've got PG-13.
Yep.
Now you have Melo. Where does this put them in the hierarchy in the West?
I mean, it's got to be right near the top. I mean, the Warriors are still here. Everybody else is here, but like that, it's so close now. They're there. Like, I think they and the Rockets. It depends on what you like more. If you think Harden, CP3,
don't forget about the Spurs.
And I'll get there. I'm just saying, like the Harden CP3 combo on the Rockets right now,
which we'll see Christmas Day too.
Straight up that matchup Christmas Day. By the way, Rockets OKC.
Barring any injuries,
get ready, boys.
Barring any injuries, I hope we don't get.
Oh, please no! Don't put that. Don't put
that juju on me, Ricky Bobby.
Thank you. No, I mean those two together with that incredibly high-powered offense with the Rockets versus OKC, which, I mean, they have all the talent in the world now between Russ, PG, and Carmelo Anthony. I mean, that is just going to be interesting to see because these are three very high-usage players. Like, I think they're all in the top, 25 for usage in the NBA, so... I mean, it's going to be interesting how they can work the ball around. Russ, obviously, we know he triple-doubled, so assists aren't really a problem for him. But it'll be interesting to see how they run that offense with those three to keep everybody happy. I'm thrilled. I think they could beat out the Rockets. The only question is, the Rockets have that 3-ball, which anything happens. They could beat out the Warriors because of that 3-ball.
And that's why right now I'm looking at where the Spurs are the interesting one to me. That's why I kind of threw them out. Oh, don't forget about them.
They're a wild card almost at this point.
Because the backcourt-wise, when you look at... They're the oldest in the backcourt out of, the top 4 that we're assuming in the West, but they're a well-coached team.
Yeah, incredibly.
Pop coaches them well. They'll probably get coached to a second seed again. If you said... Spurs second seed, I'd be like, okay, I could see that. But I kind of feel like if I'm ranking these teams right now, Warriors are 1, Rockets are 2, Thunder 3, and the Spurs are that 4th team. That's not indicative of how they'll finish.
I'm almost close to putting the OKC Thunder at 2.
And that's the thing. You can jump that. The only thing that I am looking at with the Thunder is I feel more confident in Chris Paul joining Harden and the Rockets, than fitting Melo, who we've heard about all the melodrama in New York. See what I did there? Melodrama in New York. Is that going to be able to go away now that he's playing with Russ and PG-13? Plus, we haven't seen Russ and PG-13.
Yeah, we haven't even seen them play
gel together. And I know people are going to say, but you haven't seen Harden and CP3. I'm more confident, though, in that gelling together.
That on paper
early.
works, though. Yes. That's the crazy thing. We're taking a shooting guard who had his best season playing point guard, and then we're taking one of the best statistical point guards who's played the game in the last 2 decades. I mean, that works. You have two amazingly talented players. I think that works. The question is, the ball sharing in OKC because, like I said, Carmelo as a spot-up shooter, I mean, he's a killer when he does that. We watched him do it in the Olympics. Yeah. We watched him do it a couple years back, during All-Star games. Any chance he gets, it's just the question of will he adapt to that role? Will they go to him for extended periods of time? Because that was always it wasn't as bad. Well, okay, it might have been. Now I'm trying to recall to the back last season, and I'm like, Russ off the floor versus LeBron off the floor, which team kind of had the worst plus minus? I think Russ off the floor was dramatically worse.
Well, he's all that team. He willed that team to
exactly. So
I
think that now they have the ability to. Russ doesn't have to play 40 minutes a game, which is going to be amazing for him because he won't be dying at the end of the season. And it's just going to be how are they going to work with those three because Paul George is so big. He's a two-way player. He's one of the best defenders and a good handle. Carmelo, known for being selfish, but we watched for a couple of years when he was like, oh, no, I can pass the ball. It's cool. If I'm happy, I'm a solid player. More than a solid player, I'm a star.
Will Melo be happy just because they're winning?
I think he will be. I honestly
will that be enough to keep Melo happy?
I do. I think that being out of the spotlight in New York, all the media drama is going to wash away.
Now you go to
Oklahoma State is not exactly the media capital of the world.
Not just that, you go to a culture where you're going to go to the game and you're not going to see there are celebrities that go to every basketball game now, but OKC is a different kind of atmosphere. It's almost like a college atmosphere.
It's so
with
crazy.
The Thunder, and you're going to get that kind of
those are some intense fans.
That hometown living, for a little bit. And it's going to be a change of pace for Melo. The big thing I think about with this team, though, and UI and Sean kind of had this discussion through text message trying to get to Sean to how we re-rank things because we got to also re-record our 1 through 10 for our power rankings that we did this week for our team rankings. Where would you put Melo on this roster? Because I am sitting at, I know that he played power forward. I know Sean's he's a power forward here. I would be more inclined to go Russ at the 1, PG at the 2, Melo at the 3.
And then Pat Patterson at the 4.
Yeah, Pat Patterson at the 4,
and
Steven
then
Adams at the 5. And use Robertson as your 6th man.
Yeah, because if you have Robertson, and Pat Patterson basically.
Free throws.
I know. You have the two of those guys that you kind of have to balance between, and that's where it gets a little interesting because you could go. I mean, if you have him in there, maybe against the Rockets, you want Roberson there. You want someone who can be a lockdown defender. But maybe against a team like the Cavaliers or something, you would want Patterson there because you don't want to have to trust Carmelo Anthony defending Kevin Love all game.
Exactly.
So, like, I think this gives them a lot of flexibility.
He's going to switch between the 2 and the 4, or the 3 and the 4.
I think that's the best. I know Paul George is huge. He's 6'9". He still moves very well, though. He kind of is like a slightly bigger version of Jimmy in my mind.
2 inches taller.
Yeah, he's a little bit taller, a little bit bigger. But it's just like, I feel like they have that flexibility in that lineup. It's just deadly. It's just straight up deadly. And I can't wait to see it happen because their offense will no longer have a down tip. Like, Russ off the floor does not mean that team doesn't score points.
Yeah, well, it's not all going to be run through Russ.
And you're not dependent on, running that ball. Their second unit was pretty much Enes Kanter was the offense.
Yeah.
And Enes Kanter is someone who did not play two-way basketball. Now you've got someone, Paul George and Carmelo Anthony. I know Carmelo doesn't play D as hard as he used to or ever does, but, like, in bits, he can play defense. He's not the worst man in the world at it, but he's still one of the best scorers in the NBA.
And now what the Thunder can do is, I'm even going to take a page out of the Warrior book that we saw last year, is think back to 2 years ago, the before KD era when he was still with the Oklahoma City Thunder, when the Warriors would take Steph and or Clay off the court, it would be like, wow, this team is not as productive offensively as they were with them out there. This past finals, I'm going to take Steph off the court. That's okay. I'm going to let Durant run the offense. And they never missed a beat. Yeah. They can do that here where it's like, Russ ain't going to be out there. He's going to take a little bit of a breather. That's all right. PG, run the game for us. Absolutely. Run the game with Melo right along with you.
I feel absolutely confident with them doing that. And that's scary. Like, that, this team could be scary. Now the question just comes down to, like, will the bench not shit themselves in those crunch times where you do have to rest 2 of your superstars? So I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but this is a team that, this offseason has just been batshit.
And the thing that plays into that too is the not as many back-to-backs. I know.
Absolutely.
I know that Charles calls them babies, and there's a little bit of me, that old kind of 90s basketball that's like, yeah, I can see that side of it to where if I was an old player, it's the whole side of, well, I did it and I man through it and you can't tough through it.
And they're playing softer ball than we ever did.
And that too. And the one thing that I will say with his point, without getting completely on it, that I agree with is back in the day, basketball players had to take coach in first class. They didn't get the private jets back in the day that all the players get now. It cooks and masseuses on them.
They took the bus.
They took the bus sometimes. And the thing with this Thunder team is not as many back-to-backs. Yeah. They might be able to play all 3 of them on the court longer than they would if it's like, well, we've got 3 back-to-backs here.
Yeah. Well,
I'm exaggerating, but you know
Obviously.
What I mean. You know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be very careful. Honestly, I think they might. And don't take this the wrong way. I think they could stumble out of the gate, though, trying to build that chemistry.
They got to grow together.
This is going to be like, I'm probably a weird guy when I say I'm always excited for preseason basketball, but I really am. I look forward to any basketball, and I want to see this team play. And
it's not quite like NFL preseason where it's like, give me the real stuff. Give me the real shit out there.
I know. I just want a glimpse. I'm probably not gonna watch I'm not gonna watch every game, but I want to see those 3 together. I want to see how the ball moves. I'm curious to see what they do. I'm curious to see if they go with Roberson or Patterson. There's so many different things they could do with this roster and how they run the offense, how they run the defense. There's just so much potential in this team. I think they're right there. They're one injury on the Warriors away from being in title contention.
Well, does this team compete with the Warriors? Do they bring them to, let's say, a 6-game series if they meet?
I think they could take them to 7 even. I think they're that They have that potential.
7-game series.
I think they have that potential.
Much like when KD and Russ were together.
Exactly.
In OKC.
We were thinking about it, and it's just like KD Russ were able to take a team without, obviously, Kevin Durant on the Warriors.
Yeah.
And where they should have won that series. Like, they were literally a shot away from winning it.
Weren't they up 3-1?
Yeah, they were a shot away from winning that series. So it's kind of crazy, but I think that having these 3 guys together, they've got everything they need. Now it just depends on how far that bench can carry a little bit of weight. Just a little bit. Just don't shit your pants too hard. Because the Warriors are all in. Like, they go deep. Their starting Their starting group is just
They also
phenomenal.
don't take maxes, it seems. Hey, we're just going to stop taking the max contract.
So honestly, like it's a very but I think they could. They could make a series out of it. And I think the only way they could beat them, though, is if someone on the Warriors went down with an injury.
Well, yeah, and I'm barring an injury, something happens.
I'm talking like one of the big four. I don't care if Zaza breaks a leg in half. Go for it.
It's like with Kawhi. Kawhi doesn't get injured. That series last year is totally different than what it is. At least the Spurs would have won that game. Yeah, game one, which would have changed the entire series. But before we end this, let's flip over to the other side because Knicks fans are probably like, you disrespected us at the beginning. We did do some good things in this trade. If you're thinking from a Knicks perspective, and I see the face because I don't think the Knicks
did some good things in this trade.
I don't think the Knicks did some good things in this trade. Okay. I'm just saying, as a Knicks fan, you're probably like, well, at least we got something for them. What do you think this means for the Knicks and the greater picture for the East? Because they just lost another All-Star.
Yeah, the East is becoming All-Starless. I think that on the upside is you're done with the drama. Like Melo's gone. You don't have to deal with every single, Melo, Phil Jackson headaches are gone, and that's something wonderful.
Because they're both gone.
Just a sigh of relief in the city to not have to give a fuck about that drama is amazing, I'm sure. But the problem is, like you said, what do they get back? They get back probably like the 31st, 32nd, 33rd overall pick from the Bulls for that second rounder. They get Doug McDermott, who has been inconsistent. When he's hot, he's hot. When he's not, he's absolutely not worth the spot on the end of the bench. And Enes Kanter, who, offensively is gifted. He doesn't play like a defense, never will. And probably is going to walk at the end of the year. I think maybe they can try to flip him. I mean, if somebody's interested in it, try to get some value back because this is a team that's very much ready for the rebuild. They've got Porzingis, they've got Frank at the one, and they've got, I like Kuzmiskis, I like Hernan Gomez. And that's why I'm expecting, if they, are able to tank down low enough, they can get Luka Doncic or Michael Porter Jr., Bagley, there's so many good players right at the top.
You said last night you're ready to pencil in Michael Porter Jr. to the Chicago Bulls.
I am. That's why I'm thinking Luka because they'll fit the Euro team because the Knicks are the Euro team here.
But the thing that I kind of think about is exactly what you said. I expect Kanter to walk at the end of the year.
Either walk or be trade bait.
Unless he's like, screw it, I'm going to take my player option to just fuck with you guys.
He could because I don't know how much money is going to be out there for him. We watched, Nerlens wait on the market way too long and didn't get anything. So
there is an option he can take that, but I mean, Doug McDermott, I don't expect them to offer a qualifying offer and just let him walk completely. Because really, like you
get
said,
him for dirt cheap.
When he's hot, he's hot. But when he's not worth the spot on the end of the bench. This move to me was all basically we are in for a rebuild. We are in to tank this year, to get a good pick, to try to get a draft pick next year, and then see what we can lure in with this abundance of cap room we're now going to have.
Absolutely. And there will be a lot of names out there. I don't know if they'll be able to land a superstar. I know New York was the Mecca at one point in time.
I want to ask you this.
Sure.
Could there be an opportunity for Team Banana Boat in New York?
No.
Think about it. Most of the Team Banana Boat people will be free agents next year.
I know,
LeBron,
but
CP3.
it's LA. LA is the destination people want to be on. They don't want to live in New York.
I still expect this does not change anything with LeBron. LeBron's going to LA.
It's just well, that's the thing is if LeBron's going to LA, Chris Paul
is going to LA.
Is going to want it. Well, I don't know.
They got Lonzo Ball.
I would say there's so much stuff. I think they'll pull in somebody. I mean, they might not land the biggest of names, but honestly, it's right now they need to focus on player development. See what you have in Frank. I think a lot of people haven't watched any of his film from Europe, which is fair. But he's still a very raw talent. Him playing the point guard, he probably is going to be shaky to start out. He's not natural as the one guard yet. So running the offense will be a little bit of a take time.
You know who the offense is going through, right?
Well, it's KP. It's all Porzingis.
KP and also the guy that they traded for.
Kanter.
They retraded for.
Oh, Tim Hardaway
Jr.
Shot taker.
I feel like him and KP are going to be the main offensive weapons for this team.
Absolutely. I mean, Courtney Lee's no slouch, but he's not. He's a veteran on this team. He's not who they're building up.
Now that Melo's not there, Tim Hardaway Jr., to me, I'm going to say he would be the one scoring option with air quotes only because I feel like he'd be the one. If it's not,
no, it's Porzingis.
Yeah, no. But if it's not Frank, I feel like Tim Hardaway Jr. is bringing the ball up. I don't think KP's bringing the ball up.
You don't have a 7'3" guy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like
unless his name's Giannis.
If it's not Frank, Tim Hardaway Jr. is bringing the ball up for that Knicks team.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, Ron Baker, shot taker.
I love Ron Baker, Wichita State guy.
But yeah. Again, young team. It's all about player development.
Yeah.
So New York, at least, like, here's the upside: you still have a pick, and you got another pick that's going to be, not too far in that second round. So honestly, it's not the end of the world. You had a good run with Carmelo. You couldn't put together the team that you hoped for. The 2011 experiment did not work out.
Yeah,
you couldn't bring back 2011 Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah. It wasn't to be. But I think, honestly, you're a step ahead of a lot of other teams who lose superstars. So at least you have that going for you.
And I mean, looking at the two that Presti has made trades with, I feel more confident in the Knicks' future than I do the Pacers' future.
I absolutely agree.
Because, I mean, at least the Pacers, they got a
Miles
Victor
Turner
Oladipo.
still, though.
Yeah, they got Miles Turner, but you get a Victor Oladipo where he's not done at the end of the year. Is the Knicks, we got two pieces. They're probably going to walk at the end of the year. Best case scenario, they walk, and we don't have to pay them, and we can use our cap space and hopefully a high draft pick to build a team for this New York franchise.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely spot on. I think there are some comparisons for Miles Turner and Porzingis' growth in their careers and what potential could be. Obviously, they have different games, different things they bring to the team. But I tend to agree with you. I think that New York is a step ahead of the rebuild process, because they've actually gone all in and committed to it, where Indiana, like you said, they still have Oladipo, they still have
Thad
Young. I think that Bojan. Like, they've got enough veteran guys who they're going to be in like basketball purgatory again. They're going to be they're going to be out of the playoffs likely.
But
it's the East, so maybe they could be
10th seed.
Yeah,
in that
they won't be the top
rankings.
draft pick. They won't be a playoff contender. So it's not ideal. I think in the basketball it pays off to go to the very bottom or be at the very top.
And last question I got for you, because this is the hottest take of this podcast. Give me a prediction for the All-Star game. What's the score? West win by how much? By 100? By 200? Does the East even show up?
I mean, I think we just send LeBron James and nobody else.
Will this be?
We play 1-on-5.
Is this going to be the start of, and this is a serious question, this is kind of a fun one for you guys.
Yeah.
Could this be the beginning of a fantasy draft for the All-Star game? Screw what conference you're in. We're picking two captains, the 1, 2 in the MVP race, and we have a fantasy
We
draft.
could see a lot of new All-Stars in the East otherwise.
We're all about superstars anyways in the NBA.
True.
It's all about those namesakes.
Takes away a little bit of the edge, though, the East versus West rivalry that never existed.
Yeah, because the West always demolishes.
Yeah.
The West always demolishes. And how many Warriors are going to... Now it's a question of how many Warriors get on that team.
4.
And how many spots do they take away from legit All-Stars?
Yeah, that's
in
the
the
problem.
West?
Is like Klay Thompson would be the guy who falls out, if anybody. But no, I mean, I think the toss them all in a bowl and draft it up.
And just pick ping pongs. Like, okay, you're on this team, you're on that team, you're on this team.
I mean, the upside, though, of having new All-Stars in the East, to get a little fresh, you get some of the younger kids who probably haven't had a chance to be true All-Stars yet.
You said this before we recorded. Giannis is an All-Star this year now. If Joel Embiid's healthy, he's an All-Star this year now.
Yeah.
It's
Ben
gonna
Simmons could be Markelle Fultz. Like, there's so many Bradley Beal.
The Sixers aren't going to be
John
the Warriors
Wall.
of the East, though, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be fun.
So it's going to be like LeBron, Embiid, Giannis, DeMar. I'm trying to think of someone else
who's still in the East.
D-Wade, maybe, just by default.
Bradley Beal's still in the East. Don't disrespect.
John Wall or Bradley Beal?
Both of them will be there. Yeah.
D-Wade will be like a last reserve?
Yeah, maybe. I don't think so.
Gets his name thrown in
Derrick
the hat.
Rose make a comeback?
Sixth man of the year? Is that what he's
what you're starting for the first 30 games, so
or
as long as
IT
IT's
back.
healthy.
But this is where you guys come in.
Yep.
Let's get their thoughts. We'll talk about the East and that debacle of All-Stars later. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Absolutely.
You guys tell us what you guys think. What do you think of the trade? What do you think this means for the Thunder? What does it mean for the Knicks? I still can't believe that the Thunder, I said it earlier, I'll say it again. I can't believe they pulled this off twice without having to find a first-round draft pick.
Sam Presti's a god.
Without having to find a first-round draft pick, they pull this off. Let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section.